Hey everyone, welcome back to Joy at Work. It's March 12th, 2021. Hope you're doing well, staying safe, and just soldiering through as we still deal with the pandemic. But there's light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully we get to the other side of this sooner than later. So today we want to continue our theme of strengths, and we've been talking a lot about leveraging your strengths, using your strengths, tying it to your motivation, getting feedback from people to know what you're good at, and just making sure that you continue to work on your strengths, and also acknowledging that there are areas that you might not be great at but are important to your job. So you need to work on those things as well. Today, I want to begin to move into the arena that people don't like to talk about, but this is the area of things we're not good at. And first of all, two things I should start off with. We generally have an inflated sense of how good we are at anything in general. So even if we are good communicators, we tend to think we're better communicators than we truly are, as an example. So we have an inflated sense of how good we are, generally speaking. And then we also kind of have this blind spot where sometimes we don't know that we're not that good at something as well, and we don't ask for feedback. And because we don't ask for feedback, or we don't have confidence or people who tell us, who can be very honest and transparent with us and tell us, like, look, this is not something you excel at, we never get the feedback we need to get. So this is why it's important to have trustworthy people in your life and in the workplace who can give you painful at times feedback that just tells you how it is. You're not great at this thing. When you do X, Y, or Z, it doesn't turn out very well. So, maybe you don't focus on those areas, or you do something else. I see too many people trying to overcompensate for areas that they may not be good at, because they just want to be good at those things. And unfortunately, that gets in the way of the things that they are actually good at, because they're spending so much time with this illusion of a strength that they have and not actually using the strengths that they truly have. I need to also talk about self awareness here, because self awareness is so important. I've kind of suggested to people that self awareness is a superpower. And self awareness really goes back to being very honest with yourself. I think a precursor to self awareness is humility. Uh, just recognizing you're not all that, I'm not all that, and kind of being introspective and looking at ourselves and saying, what do I need to do better at? And self awareness is just something that so many of us don't have, right? Like, and in this society that we live in, where almost anything goes right now, and you're supposed to accept me as I am, and all those things, while those are true, I don't think that that negates the need for an ounce or dose of self awareness, a dose of reality, and taking the time to reflect and almost dig deep and explore who we are, what we're good at, and what we might not be so good at as well. The Johari window talks about things people know about you that you don't know about yourself, you don't see, or maybe your blind spots. But even outside of our blind spots, if we just take the time to reflect on how well we do things, and where we have an opportunity to improve, we'll be surprised. At least I am surprised at the things that come up, the situations I could have handled a bit better, the things I could have said a little bit differently. So self awareness is extremely, extremely important, especially when it comes to our strengths, because the more self aware we are, the more likely it is that we're going to be honest with ourselves, and we'll say, you know what, you asked me to do XYZ. I'm not really good at that. So maybe somebody else should do it. Or this area is where I could help you, but this area is not something I'm good at. We would actually take a step back and sometimes just say, hey, this is not my strength. If you ask me to do this, I'll be operating from a place of weakness and not strength. And I think somebody else is better off doing it. So, how self aware are you? How self aware do you think you are? And one of the ways to do this is kind of do an assessment of yourself and ask those who are close to you to do a complimentary assessment and then can kind of compare the results. I've done this several times, and I'm often surprised by things people point out to me. That personally helps me become more self-aware. So I think a strong, important part of leaning into your strengths, if you will, is having a healthy amount of self-awareness. And remember, self-awareness is really dependent on being humble and humility. It's not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less and realizing that it's in our nature to kind of overinflate or overvalue what we bring to the table. And if we're a little bit humble or more humble and more self aware, then we have an opportunity to really, really use our strengths in the places where they're needed. All right, see you, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe or share this with somebody who'll benefit from you. Bye.